the emergency room, screaming like a woman giving birth from the womb, feeling like he'd fallen to the earth from the moon. What a turbulent gloom. He got shot in the chest, 2 bullets ripped the flesh, the blood soaked the Carhartt. Old lady snub nose, opposite of Aardvark. He was holding a cold Miller like Bodie, then 2 shots through the heart, double Bon Jovi. Now he's leaking like a record while the nurse applying pressure, freaking on a stretcher, definitely gonna die. He had just pulled the knife on his wife in the night. Old lady pops up, pow pow, surprise. They used to beat her son right in front of their mama. His name wasn't Chris, left her looking Rihanna. 3 days out the week, maybe 4 if the Pats lost. Isaac wishing he could move to his dad's spot, but tonight was different. Stepdad collapsed backwards, smashed the dishes. Blood puddle linoleum in the kitchen while the old lady disappeared efficient, like an assassin in and out the hit, impeccable. All she left her calling card, it was a stethoscope, but nobody caught the face on her. His family screaming like they're at a Drake concert. So now it's looking like ER. George Clooney trying to do CPR as his blunt run like DMC. He's reminiscing, had a GMC. Spent the weekends free with Sarah singing CMT. Before she was his wife, before she feared for her life. Nancy winked behind the EMT, then he flatline died, that's the END. Or is it 3 weeks previous? Sarah's crying cause her fetus is dying before he ever had a chance. Took his last breath, little heart in his chest, met death before they ever held hands. He'd never grow, tadpole to Leviathan, and live to learn, to try, to fail, to love, to feel, to try again. The nurse was Nancy on the night he died. The elephant in the room let out a mighty sigh, but Nancy knew the deal though, as she put the stethoscope to the earlobes. Sarah said it was an accident. Nancy rolled her eyes, leaned back, relaxed again. Sarah's heart pound like her second husband right now. Nancy frowned, saw that Sarah's head swelled around her hair.
What happened to your head?
Sarah said, I fell down the stairs.
I fell down the stairs.
But Nancy checked the blood pressure and knew that Sarah was a victim of domestic abuse. Nancy wishes she could teach her man a lesson or two. So Nancy saw through the lies as she explained. It was transparent like a dad who had a sex change. And this was kinda like a cry for help. Her baby just died, she could die herself. Plus her other son was living in this hell. He was age 12. What's his name? His name's Isaac. Tears dripping from his eyelids, sitting in the corner playing Angry Birds, forgetting angry words he heard in private. He didn't sniffle, he just let the tears trickle in silence. The smile that he wore to school was one of his disguises. He would soon exit from the cycle of violence, but that'll have to wait for the encore. Tonight tears shed like where you keep the lawnmower. 3 weeks later, Nurse Nancy in the 09 Sentra, scrubs, leather gloves, and her dentures. Got a sticker on the back window, NPR turned up like the bat signal. 30 years now working as a nurse, so she's seen it all from the birth to the hearse. So she lurked with the pistol in the purse, always bringing heat into a cold world, what a reverse. She's seen too many women battered and beaten, the bruised, bleeding and bleeding. They got the blues cause their husband attitude is a heathen. So she took it in her own hands, pop, pop, bring a grown out a grown man. She kept the heater, that's a 9mm. She had caught more bodies than a male cheerleader. Every victim was a child abuser or white beater. She would heat him up and give him all a fever. Tonight her victim had the Miller on his breath, played the villain, didn't know the killer on his deck. He liked to beat his wife in private, leave bruises the color of violet in front of her son Isaac. Nancy seen her at the hospital abused. She was too afraid to run away, impossible to move. So Nancy slid up in the room like stethoscope glinting in the moonlight. But he hadn't seen it sparkle yet. The middle of the physical argument, he had the veins popping out the face, Marlboro red. Her uniform, medical mask, masquerade. Somersault behind the table like a woman half a raise. Then Nancy popped up, told him stop, what? Pop, pop, gun sound, then he dropped, what now? Sarah screamed out into the June night and put her hand to her mouth like Gesundheit.